Okay, you understood, right? So how that commits and all will be made. Okay, good. Next. So this passwordless authentication I discussed. This config I discussed. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. Next. For example, I have two files. For example, I have two files. I modified this file. Hello, I added. I want to add this file into staging area. I want to add this file into staging area. Git status, right? I want to add it in staging area. Git add dot. It has been added into staging area. Now this has been added into staging area, right? Yes. But once after adding it to staging area, I thought to not to commit this file. I don't like to commit this file. Something I want to do some other changes. I want to take it out from staging area, because if it is in staging area, if I ignore it like that, next time when I commit the changes, even this file will be committed. Even this file will be committed. So I don't want to keep it in staging area. I want to take it out. So git reset is a command, right? Git reset is the command which will take out the files from staging area, which will remove them. Means staging area is a logical area, right? We'll just add it into staging area. I don't want it to be in staging area. I want to take it out from the staging area. What is the command to take it out? Git reset. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir. If you want only one file to reset,
you have to give the file name. Okay. Okay. But remember one thing: when you are taking out, when you use a reset to take out the file from staging area, it will just take out from staging area. That's it. It will remove that file from that logical group. That's it. But the changes is not modified. But the changes are not modified. See, this hello is still there. If I type git status, it is still showing as modified file. Okay. The modifications, whatever you did in this file, are not changed. They are as it is. Only just it took from staging area. Okay. Now let me add the file once again. Okay. Now it is in staging area. If I want to take out from staging area, what is the command? Git
reset.
But this reset, if I use this git reset hyphen hard, right? If I use this git reset as hyphen hard, now if I type git status, see the modifications also gone. Means the file which was there in staging area has came out, and also the modifications on this file also gone. It is like a original file, whatever we committed last time, or else whatever we pulled last time, whatever the changes we pulled last time, or else like whatever the commit we made last time, right? It went to till that place. Means the after you pull that, or else after you committed the changes, right? You made some changes into this file and added into staging area. So while taking from staging area, if you use git reset hyphen hard, it will take out this file from staging area. Along with taking out, it also removes the modifications. Means it will keep that as a original file. Understood, guys? The modifications are removed. Understood? Just a second, guys. I'll be. Okay. See here, I have one file b.java, right? I just modified this. Now I'm creating one more file. I created one more file, c.java. This is a new file. I just created just now. I created. Okay. But this file already once I committed into my Git. So Git has tracked this file, but there's a new file just now I created. There is no tracking with my Git. So what I'm going to do is, if I check the Git status, so it is showing as a modified file. It is showing as a new file. Means modified file means once in the previous commits, you committed this file also. So Git is aware of this file. It is there in the Git history, but this is a new file. You haven't committed so far. Not committed so far. This is a new file. Now I'm going to add them into staging area. Now I added them into Git status. If you see that both are in staging area. Now if I try to reset them, hard, git reset hyphen hard. Git is aware of this file already once you committed, but this is Git is not aware of this file. So now let me use hyphen hard. Now if I type git status, you can see this. Both the files has been gone. Both the files has been gone. Now if I go here, right? See this b.java changes are gone. That a.java is not, c.java is not there at all. Understood, guys? All the files are going. But if you want to control only with means only that modified files has to be gone, but not untracked files. The new file should not go. In such cases, instead of hyphen hard, you can use head. Git reset hyphen head you can use. So what it will do is only the modified files, the changes, both the files, the modified file, new file will go out of staging area, but the modified file changes will be gone, but the new file will remain as it is. For that, you can use head. You try it out. Okay. And you want to remove, means you have new files and modified files. You want to remove all the new files from staging area, then you can use git clean -f. These are not much important, but this is important. You just, these two, you just go this, but you remember this also. Okay. And to check the logs, git log is a command. If I type git log, you already know, I think I already showed this here. If you want to see the commit IDs and all, you no need to go here. Always in the commits, you can check from here also. You can check from here as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to type git log. Right here, it is going to show the history. So if there is too much history, it will show here. You have to keep on clicking enter. It will show the full history. And if you want to come out, you can click on Q to come out. Okay, like more or less commands we use, right? Okay. Okay. Next, passwordless authentication we discussed. Now, while generating SSH keygen, right, you can just type SSH-keygen, or else you can pass these details as well. These are all optional. You can just type SSH-keygen. You no need to pass parameters for that SSH-keygen. If you want to pass parameters, you can use this -t RSA, means RSA token it is going to use to generate that keys. That public key ID underscore RSA dot pub keys, right? Some tokens. So to generate that token, it is going to use RSA token, and 1024 bits it is going to take, and -c your email ID you have to use. If you don't give your email ID, it will take computer name. Not a problem. These all -t RSA is the default value, -b 1024 is a default value, -c your computer name are default value. So that is the reason I have not given all these parameters. I just type SSH-keygen. So it took these parameters as a default one. So while generating the SSH key, you no need to pass this. If you want to pass, you can pass, or else if you don't pass also, if you just pass SSH-keygen also, it will take these parameters as a default one. Next, you know about commit, right? Just now we used git commit file name -m message. Okay, to add the files, right? Git add file name to add into staging area. Git add dot to add all the files in the current location into staging area. Git add -u to add only the modified files. Means if you have modified files and new files, I want to add only modified files into staging area, -u. I want to add all, right? -all or -a or dot. You can use anything. It is up to you. Next, okay. Now, before going to the next concepts, let me explain some scenarios. Which should I pick now? Checkout is not required now. Okay. Let me discuss about something called as branch. Okay, guys, this is important. Too much important. Concentrate. Okay, keep your mobiles away. Okay. When I type one git branch, what it is showing? Main it is showing. Main. Next, I'll go here. Here also, if you go here inside this repository, in this repository, it is showing something called as main here. What is this? Is branch. What is this? Is branch. In every Git repository, or else like GitHub repository, one branch is mandatory. Without a branch, you cannot have a repository. This is my repository, my first repository. For this, there is one branch, main. Did we created this? No, it came by default. It is also showing here as default, but that is not the mean that this has been created by default. Not that meaning here, but the main is a default branch. Earlier, maybe 1 year ago, the default branch name was master. The default branch name was master. Now Git changed it into main. Okay, instead of master, they are using that as a main branch. Okay, fine. So I cannot have a GitHub repository without a branch. So that is the reason when we created a GitHub repository, by default, GitHub itself has created a branch. main branch. Now, what are all the files we are committing? Everything are tracked inside this branch. Inside this repository, there is a branch, main branch. So all these files are under that branch only. All these files are under that branch only. So what is this branching concept? Why we need this? Okay, let me tell you. This is my GitHub repository. This is my GitHub repository. This one, my first repository like this. So by default, whenever I created a repository, GitHub has created one branch for me. That is main branch. The name of the branch is main. So all the developers, I have like few developers, like something like 3 developers. Let's think. All of them are connected to this repository main branch by default. All of them are connected to this main branch. This repository main branch. Now, whenever they commit the changes, that will be placed inside this branch. So this repository itself, just one group. Once again, repository itself is a group, right? In this entire GitHub account, we create a repository. Just in general, it is like a group. For each project, we create a repository like a group, right? So in this, again, there is one more group where all our files will be placed. Means all this a.java, b.java, c.java, everything will be placed here, right? Now, I want to deploy the changes. The code developers has completed the coding. Now I want to deploy the changes here. In one server, I want to deploy and give it to the testers to test it. Okay. My developers completed the testing on Monday. Now, this code has been placed here, right? This code I enabled DevOps automation. So whenever a developer commits a change, this code will be deployed here. So my testers will keep testing it. They completed the development on Monday. Testers need 3 days to test. 3 days to test. For these 3 days, while the testers are testing the application, the code should not be touched. It has to be free, same like it has to be left like that. If it touch this, for example, some changes in the a.java has been modified. That's it. Automatically, my DevOps tool will take the changes and deploy it here. So yesterday, for example, the code has been complete. The coding has been completed on Monday. So Monday I deployed. They tested something code related to this file. Okay, they tested. It showed red color. But what my developers did, they changed it. On Tuesday, they changed the changes. They changed that red color into green color. Now today, when my developer tested, instead of red color, it is coming as a green color. Testers are unable to test that. Yesterday one result, today one result. They are unhappy, right? They are unhappy. So Pawan asked me this question. Nah, Baba, I didn't understand this branching strategy. Vaishnavi asked, right? So many people have asked me, like, I'm not able to understand this, right? See, branchings, why we use this? One branch is nothing but one set of code. One set of code. Now, as the testers are using this set of code, developers should not touch it. Developers should not touch it. Why? Because if testers are testing, if you modify the code, testers will be unable to test. They need one stable code. While testing, if you modify something, instead of red color, it is giving green color. So what they have to think? Array, yesterday I tested it, it was correct red color, but today it is showing green color. Again, there is a bug, right? So when the testers are testing, the code should not be modified. If you modify the code, automatically my DevOps tools will deploy it here, and the testers will get some wrong result. So what I want to do is, instead of this, to solve this, what I have to do is, I'll create one more branch. So in this case, whatever I said, right, when the testers are testing, we should not touch the code. Means if testers are taking 3 days time, my developer should be idle, right? Should be enjoying without doing any work. They have to enjoy. Yes or no? Yes or no? They should not touch the code until testers finish the test. We have to sit idle, but industry will not ask this. If that is the case, if you're sitting idle, it is a huge loss for the company. They'll not do like that. They'll ask you to work with the next functionality. When the testers are testing on some functionality, you work on some other functionality. But if you try to work and push it, that's it. The testers cannot concentrate on the testing. So what we can do is we can create one more branch. We can create one more branch. I'll name that branch as QA. QA branch. QA branch. For now, my main branch has 3 files. My main branch has 3 files, right? I have only one main branch, right? In that 3 files are there. For example, I'll create one more branch as QA. I'll create one more branch as QA branch. I'll move the same changes here. That whatever is present on the main branch, all the changes I'll move to QA branch. I'll move to QA branch. Done. Now I'll use this QA branch to deploy into this QA server. QA server. Now where the developers are connected to main branch, but the code all present on main branch on Monday when developers completed their coding on Monday, they completed, right? It's the same I copied from main branch to QA branch. I copied. Now I enable DevOps automation for this QA branch. It has 3 files or 30 files, something, right? All the changes will be deployed into QA server and testers started testing this. Testers started testing this. So while testers started testing, developers should not sit idle. They can start coding of the next functionality. There is some other requirement for us. They started coding for that and they are committing the changes or pushing the changes into main branch. So in this case, is it going to, so I already made a copy here, right? Now when the developers makes commits, they modified this file. They added one more file. In such cases, is it going to deploy into the QA server? No. Why? Because QA server will use this. Okay. The new code is present only on main branch. Now testers completed the testing, right? That release happened or something like we did that. Now testers are ready to test the next functionality. Now, after 3 days, right? Testers took 3 days to test this, the code present here. And these 3 days, developers completed some coding. Now I want to take this latest changes after 3 days. Now I'll move the changes from here to here. Now all these new changes will come here and this will be deployed here. Now QA people will start testing. But the same again, developers will continue with the third functionality. They'll be making into this branch. Now in this case, we are not touching the QA branch. So we are not disturbing the QA. This is one example. Have you understood, guys? Branch is nothing but one set of code. Means the same files we are maintaining as a different set. One more copy. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but remember, both are not in sync. Once you create a QA branch, if you modify any file changes in main, it doesn't automatically, it is not going to automatically reflect the changes here. It is not going to automatically reflect here. If you want the changes from main to QA, latest changes you want to from main to QA, you have to manually merge the changes from main to QA. Automatically, it will not get synced. Understood, guys? You understood the scenario?
Yes.
Pawan, Vaishnavi,
Yes.
Tejeshwar, Kavya,
Yes, sir.
is
Sir.
everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Yatish, okay, why we use branch? Now,
One more doubt.
yes, yes.
Now from the main branch, they move to the QA. QA are working and the test is running fine and everything is okay. What if the developer does changes in main again for the first release? Will that change?
Yeah, yes. In that QA, what you want to do is, if you want to go to production, whatever is there in QA, you take a backup here. Means you take a copy in some other branches, like prod branch or something. You take it here. It is ready for production. You deploy to production. Okay. So I'll explain it. The branching strategy. You understood, right? Why we need branches? Why we need to maintain a separate code? For one functionality, we want a stable code. If you have only single branch, we cannot maintain that because developers has to do the modification regularly. So to maintain a separate copy, we use branches. Understood, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in real time, in general, there are so many branching strategies. But the mainly followed one is either 3 or 4 branches based on our requirements. So let me explain this. For example, if I have a GitHub repository like this, what we do is, in general, we follow one branch. we will follow in general either 3 or 4 branching strategies will follow. Let me explain that. Few people will follow 3, few people will follow 4. That depends. So let me explain this. If QA or CDT, prod or SIT. Okay, next prod. We will create 4 branches. We will create 4 branches in GitHub repository. In general, we will create 4 branches like this main. We will create 4 branches. So this prod branch we also followed as a main branch. Okay, or master also. Okay, in older Gits it is master. Okay, now so we are going to create 4 branches. Okay, so in general, developers will not be connected to this main branch. We will use this main branch as a production branch. In general, we create one more branch called as development or dev branch. Development, dev, everything, short names, development, short names are dev. Okay, we will create development branch and ask all the developers to connect to that, not to the master branch. Whenever we are creating a new repository, by default, we'll create, we will get one main branch, right? So with that main branch, we'll create one dev branch like this, dev branch from main branch. Means dev, we are going to create one new branch dev from main. Means we are creating a branch called as the develop from the main branch. Means while creating a new branch, right? Main is a default, it will come by default. But when you are creating a new branch, it need one from branch. Means we cannot create an empty branch. So what it is going to do is, it is going to take the changes from main and create. So whatever is there on main branch, the same things will come into development branch. So under main branch, what I have, a.java, b.java, readme.md. Now if I go to development, see here it is refreshing. Here also I got it. Now I got a development branch, right? This development branch has the same changes, whatever were there from main. But once the development branch created, both are different. Now if I modify branch develop, that will not be reflected in main. If I modify something in main, that will not come into dev. If I want to come from main to dev, I have to manually merge. That we will see later. For now, I created a development branch. Like this, we will create 4 branches in general. This is one branching strategy in general. So all the developers will be connected to this development branch. All the developers will be connected to this development branch. Okay, all the developers are connected to this development branch. Okay, fine. They committed the changes. Maybe they did coding for 2 weeks. Now I want to give that for QA. Okay, developers, whenever they commit, for each branch, we will have development automation, DevOps automation. So whenever developers commits a single file, so that will be deployed in dev server. That will be deployed in dev server. The developers test it. Now, when the developers are ready to move to QA, whatever the files present here, right? They will move the changes to QA branch, right? QA branch. Now QA, that will be deployed in QA server. All the testers will be connecting to this QA server and testing it. Now developers will keep continue testing. Developers will keep continue coding, right? When QA is passed, we will move that to pre-prod for one more testing. For one more round of testing, we will pass it to QA. That will be deployed in QA server and will be tested once again, right? Once this is passed, we will move it to production where end users will be testing. So by the time, when we move to production, our application is running in production. By this time, developers completed some more coding. We'll move it to QA. QA testers will test it. We'll move it to pre-prod where one more set of testers are going to test it. Then we will move to production. So when an application is going live, means whether Flipkart, Gmail, whatever it is, if we are using, if there is any new functionality coming in Flipkart, first developers will test in their server after coding. Then they'll give it to QA. Once QA is tested, then they'll do one more round of testing in pre-prod, and then only we will move it to production branch where it will be deployed in the production server. Understood, guys? Understood? Yes or no? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you understood these branching strategies?
Yes, sir.
This is one of the important question. Explain me your branching strategies in your organization. There are so many branching strategies, like user wise. We can create, every user will create their own branch, and finally they'll merge with the development branch, right? Like that, there are different based on stories. If you are following agile methodology based on stories, you don't get confused with all these things. Okay, you keep aside, but for now you blindly follow 4 branching strategies. Till end of our course, I'll be using the same branching strategy. If you don't understand it now, later if you ask me, sorry, I cannot proceed. Understood, guys? Is it clear? Do you have any questions here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll give one assignment with this branching strategies, so you'll not get any confusion. So once I discuss this GitHub, a few more concepts, I'll give one assignment. Again, when I discuss about Jenkins also, I'll give one assignment. If you do that, I'll give similar like real time, in how we do in real time. The same way you have to do the assignment, so you will get it. I cannot discuss everything in the class. It will take years if I want to discuss. So I'll give as an assignment. If you do that, you will learn it how we do in real time exactly. Okay, understood, guys? Is it clear? So one branch to other branch, we have to merge the changes. Just one set of code. Now tell me, if I move the changes from one branch to other branch, from here to here, if I modify a file here, is that automatically going to reflect on this branch as well?
No.
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 I have to manually move it.
Manually
I
move
want.
it.
Yeah, yes, right. Good. Okay, you remember that. Right. Next, while creating a new branch, that cannot be empty branch. It has to be created from some other branch. Then whatever is present in that branch, it will come here. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Initially, while creating branch, we will connect to one branch and create, right, sir?
Yes, exactly.
That time only, whenever whatever the files are there in the parent branch,
yes.
that all will be copied to children branch.
Yes, exactly. That is not called as parent branch. It is called as from branch. Okay. The terminology from branch. Now tell me here. Yeah, the same scenario. I already had main branch. I created development branch. Is development branch as created as an empty branch? No. I selected from branch as a main. So all the changes present on main came to development. That's it. After creating development, both are different. But while creating development, I selected main as the from. So all the changes from main came to development. Understood, guys?
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to create one more branch called as QA branch. How to create? We call QA as CDT also, common development testing, either QA or CDT branch, QA environment, CDT environment. See, for this branch are each for one environment, means development environment, we have development branch where we have separate server for developers. QA environment, for that we have QA server where we have Linux, one separate Linux for QA, where we have one Linux server. Pre-prod will have one branch, separate environment, separate server for QA. Production, separate environment where we have separate server. Okay, for each environment, 4 environments, 4 branches we are creating. Okay, what is this environment? If you are not aware, okay, we'll discuss. Don't worry. Now I want to create QA branch. How to create QA branch? QA. From where it is creating? From QA from develop. But I don't want to create from develop. I want to create from main branch. I want to create. See, if I give it QA, what it is showing? Create branch QA from develop, means whatever is there on the from, it will come. Whatever is there from this from branch develop, that will come to QA. I don't want that. I want from main branch. Then what should you do is, here what it is selected, I selected development branch. You select, instead of develop, you select main. The tick mark you observe here. I'm selecting main. What it's showing here? Main. Now if I select QA, if I select QA, see, it is going to create from main. So if I create this, so it has created, the QA branch has been created from main branch. Now I want to create one more branch called as pre-prod. It is getting created from QA. If I click on here, create branch pre-prod from QA, it will get the pre-prod branch get created, but it will get the changes from QA. I don't want from QA. I want it from main. So what should I do? What should I do?
First, we should go to main and then we.
First I have to select the main branch. I have to select the main branch. Yes. Now I have to create pre-prod. Understood? So whatever is selected here, that is going to be your from branch. Okay, pre-prod has been created, means whatever is there in that main, that has came into pre-prod. Understood, guys? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, that is how we create the branches. Not only here, we have to create through commands as well. The branches has to be created from commands as well. We'll do that later. But in real time, branch creation will be done by both developers and us. Commands, git, pull, code, commit, those and all in regular, daily, developers will do that. We also do very rarely, but not actually. As a DevOps engineers, we not do regularly. I'll give that roles and responsibilities of us about GitHub at the end. I'll give you. Okay, so our roles and responsibilities as of now is creating branches, creating repositories, creating branches. Developers also in few cases creates repositories and branches, but in general we create. If they have access, they also create, but in general we create this branches and repositories. Developers also create both. Based on our mutual understanding, we create the branches and repositories. Okay, fine. I have 4 branches inside this repository. Fine. Now, when I pull that changes, I'm inside that repository, right? My first repo. See here, I'm going to pull it. Git pull. It is pulling that branches also. It is saying star, a new branch is there. Someone created a new branch, develop. Someone created a new branch, pre-prod QA, and everything is up to date. In my current branch, what is my current branch now? What is my branch now?
Main branch.
Main. But how many branches are there in my GitHub?
4.
So I pulled all 4. So in my local also all 4 are there. But now if I make any modifications and commit, where to which branch those changes will be committed?
Main.
Main. How you can say?
Because we are in main branch.
Yes, we are under main branch. When I type git branch, it is showing as main star. It is right. It is my current connected branch. Means if I do any modifications and commit, those will be made on main branch. But I don't want to do main to main branch. I don't want to do it into main branch. I want to do the changes in development branch. I said, right, by default, we have main branch, but main branch we use for production. But all we have to create a separate branch like QA dev pre-prod, and all the developers should be connected to development branch. But I'm connected to main branch. I don't want to do the changes into development main branch. I want to connect to development branch, develop branch. So how to change is git checkout develop branch name. This is how we switch between the branches. Git checkout is the command what we use to switch between the branches. Git checkout develop. Now it is a switch it to a new branch develop. Okay. The branch develop set up to track remote branch develop from origin. Something it is saying. Now if I type git branch, it is showing both main. Earlier I connected to main, now I connected to develop. So wherever is star is showing is that is my current connected branch. So I connected to main also, but not now, earlier. But now currently I am connecting to my development branch. So if I do any modifications and commit and push the changes, those will be pushed into my development branch. Understood, guys? Understood. But there is a small thing we have to think here. See, as I am aware that by default, all the developers should be connected to development. So I cloned the repository. By default, it was connected to main. So I used git checkout develop to connect, to switch between the branch to development and then make the changes. What if a new person comes and clone the repository? By default, for him, the default repository will be main branch. Means whenever he clones that, his current connected branch will be main branch. He is not aware that he has to switch to development branch. Directly he'll make the changes and commit into main branch. That's it. Production environment will be gone. Right? So what is the default branch here? Main branch. So default branch is main, right? This came by default. Whenever I created a repository, this came as a main. Now, when someone clones your repository, by default, it will be connected to that repository only. So let me delete this. Let me delete this main repository. This is my first repository. I'll delete it. I'm going to delete it. Okay, okay, I have a git bash open. So let me close it, right? Okay, delete it, right? Now I'm a new person. I don't know about this. You just asked me to clone it. I'm going to clone it. So git bash. I'm a new person. Okay, I'm spending a lot of time here, guys. So at least try to concentrate, understand. I'm cloning it here. It has cloned. lscd my first. Here, if I type git branch, what it is connecting to? Main branch. If I am not aware that I have to check out to development and work, I may do the commits to main branch, right? So it will spoil everything. Okay, someone turn on the cam. Okay, put it off. Okay, someone turned on the cam. Okay, okay, main branch. You don't worry. Maybe today or tomorrow I'll ask everyone to turn on the cams. Maybe in 1 or 2 days, every day you have to turn on. Okay, wait. So this is a main branch. It is connected. Wait, let me connect. Okay, so I don't want this. When someone clones, by default, it should be connected to the development branch. So in such cases, I can change this development branch.